also you will need batteries. Additionally, the Splorg light is a gummy-like version of the black light, which is very rare and does not need batteries. It is most easily earned by trading a gummy light with a sea bunny. You can also very rarely encounter them naturally, but I wouldn't plan on it. Look out for these though, and don't take them for granted. They can be very useful to remove one entity from your concerns in times where things get really overwhelming. A great example is during Ridge, where you sometimes have to juggle squiddles, iFest, wall dwellers, radios, and anglers all at the same time. Think smarter, not harder. Number 8. Anticipating the multi-monster. Have you ever been worried about how to dodge A60? He's actually not too difficult to notice. If you look closely at your screen when he's about to come, the screen will have a status effect and there will be a small buzzing sound playing. This is your first warning, and if you notice it immediately, you can be ready to hide way before A60 says his message and passes through. Some of the messages include think fast, ready, and incoming, among others. Keep this in mind. One other thing you must know, which I'll talk a bit about more later, is that A60 will completely delete your body upon death, which, if you have a defib, will make it impossible for you to be revived. So be wary if multi-monster ever comes by. Number 9. Reviving with the defibrillator. The defibrillator can help you revive your teammates and will be unlocked in the dead drop shop after being revived with a defib or reviving someone else with it. They can also be rarely found while searching for research if you're lucky enough. In order to use it, you must directly use it on your friend's body. But if you have defibs, make sure you're especially wary of deaths which make reviving with the defib completely impossible. For instance, A60 will completely remove your body instead of placing it where you died. Dying in the Abomination or Firewall encounters, along with dying in a pit or dying to Chainsmoker, will also make you completely unrevivable by a defib. This is because your body will be inaccessible, locked away in those places. Lastly, if you're going for This Badge Sucks, or any of the related survivability badges, everyone bringing a defib is an absolute must, since defibs are allowed for these badges. Consider that it will allow you basically 8 revives, which is amazing. Lastly, if you're actually doing this, make sure that if any of the 8 players suspects that they're about to die, they must drop their defib immediately, as unlike other items, defibs do not drop on the floor after death. Tip number 10. Expecting documents. If you pass what appears to be a rare room, don't only look at it, look for documents as well. There are many rooms that you may encounter which have documents, including toy remotes and heavy containment, the Aquila Void Mass, Navi AI, and much more. Trust me, you will completely regret it if you don't. Some of the rarer ones, like my wife for instance, you may not see again for a long time. And also, if you're intending on going for documents, do not rescue Painter. Sebastian will not save any documents you encounter in a run where you rescue Painter. Imagine if you start by rescuing Painter and then get lucky enough to find Stairwell 87. You ain't getting that document, and you'll regret it. Not sure if this has happened to anyone before, but I'd be devastated if it happened. RIP to anyone this has happened to. Tip number 11. Hiding from Pandemonium. This next one's a popular one. You do not need to use a locker to hide from Pandemonium.
What? Expendable at door 30.
Pandy has crazy visibility, and the only way to evade his minigames without dying is to completely hide your body from him. Let me know if you guys want a guide on this specifically. It is so satisfying.
Stand back from the hatch.
Not that I don't love his minigames though. Tip number 12. Finding key cards easily. If you get annoyed by looking for key cards, pay attention to this tip. You actually do not need to open any drawers to find this thing. There are 2 easy ways to locate it, even in the dark, without opening anything. Number 1. Wait until you hear a jingle and find out where the key card is. This is best heard with headphones on. It is also more easily found with death mode on due to the indicator. Number 2. The second method, which I personally use, is listening for the buzz sound. If you listen very closely while in front of the key card, it will buzz. You can even hear it when it's behind a closed drawer, which is insane. Use this to locate the key card easier, especially if you don't want to bother searching entire rooms. But, of course, if you're okay with it, searching all the room for possible loot helps too, because you might miss the medkit that you end up needing. Number 3. The last method I haven't mentioned yet is Sebastian Scanner, but I find the previous method easier to save Kroner and batteries, but whatever floats your boat. Tip number 13. One-upping wall dwellers. These goobers think they are so sneaky. You might be most scared of them because of how easily they can catch you off guard. But what I recommend for you to do in order to one-up them is to do quick 180s upon entering each room. Think about it. If they like to try and catch you off guard, but you are always checking behind you, how are they ever going to catch you? The timing in which you do this is up to you, but it's a good way to be extra safe. Also though, if you play with headphones, and you absolutely should by the way, as it makes the game tremendously easier, especially as a beginner, the sound of the wall dweller is actually quite distinct. Watch out for this sound so you never get caught off guard. Also, if a wall dweller is anywhere near an angler when passes. For example, if you just scared one away before a flicker happens, check if the dweller died as it was running away from you. If it did, grab its flesh. After you consume it, its flesh will slowly heal you for the rest of the time you're alive. Nifty, right? Lastly, careful, because wall dwellers may try to trick you by coming back immediately after running away. If this is actually stated in the document. That's why I recommend a quick one after entering each room. Tip number 14, how to properly utilize sprints. If you enjoy using sprints, consider this. Sprints actually enable you to jump and slide, similar to firewall movement. They don't only increase speed. You can buy a maximum of 5 of them from the dead drop shop, which is honestly very generous on Zeal's part. Just be careful to not use them before keycard rooms unless you get lucky enough on the keycard location, or if you're willing to use code breachers, which by the way isn't the best idea unless you're speedrunning or urgently evading an entity. Otherwise it should be saved for code breacher rooms. One other thing about this though, sprints are a godsend for Lockerless. If you're going for this badge, always buy 5 of them, because if you're stranded without a PSS where the lights flicker, sprints can be your last-ditch effort to speed towards future rooms that may have a PSS for you. You must not forget this. Tip number 15, code breachers. Speaking of code breachers, look out for these treasure rooms. They can spawn in many rooms, including but not limited to server rooms, heavy containment, maintenance tunnels, and certain room layouts like these. They can only be accessed using code breachers. This can be a great way to get batteries, research, and maybe even run saving defense if you're lucky enough. However, not all code breacher rooms are as good as they can be. Pray for good luck. Tip number 16, avoiding falling during firewall. Firewall is arguably the most difficult grand encounter in the game as of the Worth the Wait update. Although it will take you a good deal of practice to consistently clear the jet suit course, here are some tips to get you started. First off, don't underestimate the usefulness of your dashes. They and your double jump replenish the moment you hit the ground. You can use this to go incredibly fast in certain sections that permit it, along with the very end. It can also save you from falling off and having to lose HP just to get back, of course, literally. And do consider it doesn't matter how quickly you jump and then get back on the ground, it will always replenish. There is no cooldown. Another tip to consider, in the sections where you have to slide, you may not be able to slide under the obstacles if you hit the wall before attempting to slide. Make sure to start sliding before reaching the wall, which not only ensures you don't get stuck, but helps you build momentum for the future sections. The last thing I wanted to speak on, the green breakable glass is only breakable by dashing through them directly. It is technically possible to go above them depending on the room generation, but this is risky. It's most as you dash to ensure you are in the best position to continue moving through the course. Keep this in mind and don't get discouraged if you fail. Once you get the hang of it, Firewall is one of the most enjoyable parts of the game right now. And also consider, if you absolutely don't want to, you can sit out while playing with friends. You may even be able to play some nefarious games in the meantime. Tip number 17, Searchlight Generator Advanced Tip. If you look closely while completing the Searchlight Grand Encounters, the bar for repairs actually will very slowly fill up on its own without you having to do anything. This can help you if you need to leave a generator temporarily to dodge a searchlight to reduce the amount of time it takes. Let me know if this ever helps. And this also allows you, if you feel the need to leave a generator temporarily, to do that. It really is not a bad thing and can save you if you're in a pinch. Aside from that, you can actually anticipate how many times you have to crank the generator. For the very first generator before Searchlight to activate the tram, it's only 3. For all the other ones during the Grand Encounter itself, it's 4, which can sometimes be 3 if it fills up on its own. For the Grand Finale before winning, it's 3, which can also end up being 2 for the same reason. Tip number 18, surviving Abomination easier. For Abomination, if you find it difficult to survive without being hit by Abomination himself, landmines, or the fans, there's a way to more effectively and carefully evade the fans, which the game does not make very obvious. You can actually hold S, or move backwards for controller and mobile, to slow down your speed without turning off your Hydro Glide. This can help a lot in sticky situations. But don't do it too much because obviously you do not want Abomination to catch up with you. But this tiny detail can help you make precise movements that just happened. Not allow you to avoid certain hazards. Tip number 19, the best room types. In this section, I want to discuss 2 room types, server rooms and heavy containment. These are 2 of the best room types in the game, hands down. This is because not only are they some of the coolest, but they are rich with easy safe spots. Take server rooms, for example. They have a very high chance of code breach or treasure rooms, vents which serve as an SS, which is basically a safe spot from every angler except Pandemonium, and the servers themselves function as a safe spot. And as for heavy containment, basically all of the side rooms are Pandemonium safe spots, and it's very easy to survive here. Always celebrate heavy containment if you're doing Lockerless or Glutton of Punishment, or any run for that matter. Tip number 20, speedrun tips. Here's a nice way to save yourself some time. There's actually a way to get past the metal railing you see in many of the rooms you enter. All you need to do is angle your camera upward and then downward while touching the bar. It's genuinely that easy. You may need to practice it before getting the hang of it, but it's genuinely one of the single-handedly most valuable tips I could give you. Aside from that, if you're trying to generally speedrun this game, make sure to utilize the sprints that we talked about in the previous tip. The other thing that you can do if you decide you want to is to use code breachers. You can buy a maximum of 3 from the dead drop shop, and by bringing them, you can get past any keycard room in the game with these things. It allows you also to access the code breacher rooms, of course, which can very much level up.
Now arriving.
But obviously it's best to save the code breachers for those trend rooms, but if you decide you want to just have that extra edge with speedrunning, I highly recommend it. Tip 21, abstract art. You ever notice the color statues lying around the black site, which literally do nothing except stand there and make you doubt your life choices? Well, they're called abstract art and they are harmless. Yes, they're still harmless when there's 1,000 of them in that one dark room, blocking your way like a massive herd of buffaloes. Regardless of this document mentioning how they move around, you will never see them move in any of the runs you do. Trust me, you'll be fine. Tip 22, angler warning message. Whenever the first angler is about to come, there will always be text that shows up at the bottom of the screen, which can be many possible messages among a massive list. Once you see this message, you obviously know that an angler is about to come. But there's something about this that many people don't actually realize. Although it's a low chance, it's very possible for the first angler to be Pinky. It's happened to me and the people I played with enough times, and I'd say it's worth including here, just so that you are able to be very fit. You should not let the light flickers be the only thing that indicates that an angler is coming. You must always be prepared, as the badge states. Tip 23, another crucial fake door tip. Something to know about the fake doors and the good people that I actually did not say in the previous tip is this. As you probably know, if an angler passes through your room, the path that they follow, unless they're Pandy or Pinky of course, will have their lights broken and therefore turned off. However, it does one extra thing. If an angler goes on a path that happens to cross a fake door, that fake door becomes immediately obvious, especially in dark rooms. Allow me to explain. If you see the green number brightly shining and the room is completely dark, it's insanely likely that the door is fake. The door that is real is much more likely to have its number hidden unless you're very close to it, or if you shine your light on it, or if it's a special kind of room. Think about it logically if you minded Painter though. He's the one trying to trick you. He wants to make it as likely as possible that you fall for a fake door and die. If the room is dark, why would he make the real door obvious? He would instead choose to make the fake doors obvious in hopes that you go to them instead. Use this logic to easily deduce which room is real. Tip 24, underwater pipes. If you ever struggle in the underwater sections, make sure you're following the green markers to know where to go. I'm sure you do know that, but the true reason I'm including this though, is the pipes that you sometimes have to swim through can be quite deceptive. Do you ever find yourself getting lost in these? Well then pay attention to this. Look very closely at that green marker. Yes, if you see it, that means you're going in the right way, but what happens if you see one in the middle of a 3-way split in the pipes? You're probably going to be confused in which direction is correct. But you must never be in the direction that you're supposed to go. It took me forever to find that out. Pay attention to this so that you never hit a dead end in the underwater pipe sections again. I sure do hope you knew that already, but I'm including this in case you didn't. I hope that helps. Tip number 25, the last tip. For this tip, this is what I have to say. Just be better and don't skill issue. Just kidding. Focus on having fun. This game has so much lore, love, and content packed into it, and it is genuinely incredible as a game. It's one of the best on Roblox by far. Focus on having fun and make it a goofy time. I'm sure you and your friends can make incredible memories playing this. And that brings us to the end of this guide. I've put so much love into this, and I genuinely hope that this has brought you some value. I know how many other people in the Roblox community love this game as much as me, and I want us to enjoy it without issue. So I hope this has helped. I'm going to be cranking out many more videos just like this one, so if you'd like more tips or for me to make this a series, let me know, because although 25 tips are a lot, there are so many more tips I could tell you all that I have stored away. Either way, thank you for tagging along and watching to the end. You guys are truly the real ones. I hope to catch you next time in my future videos, and for now, live well and have a great rest of your day.
Sa ila. Katahom sini ang ayan si mo. Salamat, Kid Radio. Para sa imo. Happy?
pro tips for finding safe spots, how to get through the infamously hardest part of this challenge, the ridge, and much more. Despite being luck-based, you can turn this into a skill-based challenge if you know how to approach it. Ready to find out? Let's get started. Tip number 1. What to complete before Lockerless. Complete as many other badges as you can before attempting this challenge. Yes, Lockerless is one of the most tempting challenges in this game, but it is not the first one you should be going for. This is because by completing the other challenges first, you gain access to items in the Dead Drop shop that you need for this challenge. Good examples are as follows. Number 1, the I'm Out of Here badge unlocks sprints, this badge unlocks medkits, and the Enraged challenge grants the flash beacon, all in the Dead Drop shop. Regardless of this, I'd say watching this to be prepared on what to expect, and for entertainment of course, is still a good idea, but be mindful that you have to be ready for it. Tip number 2, the RNG aspect. Before attempting this challenge, you must understand the RNG aspect of it. It is very, very possible that you do everything correctly and follow all of the tips in this guide and still fail solely because of unlucky room generation. If this happens, know it is not your fault and is part of the process of getting the perfect run. If you can maintain motivation after losing to luck, you'll definitely have what it takes to beat this challenge. Tip number 3, Lockerless requirements. In order to beat the challenge, all of the following requirements must have been met by the end of the ridge. Number 1, you have to complete this challenge solo. Number 2, no revives have been used, which of course means, number 3, no deaths are allowed. And the worst requirement of them all, number 4, you must get to the end without using lockers, but by instead using safe spots or staying out of the line of sight of threats. There are no time restrictions though, and aside from the lack of revives, there are also no item restrictions. Use this to your advantage. We'll discuss this later as well. Tip number 4, timing for the badge. As hinted about in the last tip, you actually only need to reach the end of the ridge to complete this challenge. This means you have to make it to the last door and pull that lever, which leads to the final encounter. In other words, you do not have to do the final searchlights encounter. I would encourage you to do it anyway as a celebratory victory lap and to add that extra win to your win count. You could technically read it. Do note though that since this guide does not require the encounter, I will not be the guide. But what I reading the right Number 1, sprint. Absolute must. This is because there are many PSSs that are locked behind code breach rooms, particularly the one in the ridge. Having 3 out of 3 just in case, or if you wanted to try your luck at the items in the treasure rooms, is a great idea. Number 3, medkits or parathecine. Highly recommended. In case you get trolled by iFest, or need to ensure you get through searchlights, or to ensure you will still have healing to use for the rooms after Firewall and Abomination, make sure you bring these. Number 4, blacklight or the hand crank flashlight, to be extra careful. I think these are both amazing because both items remove one concern from your plate. Blacklights remove squiddles from your concerns, and hand cranks mean you don't have to hunt for batteries. Based on the list, my recommended loadout for each run is the following: 3 to 5 sprints, 1 to 3 code breachers, at least 1 medkit, and at least 1 light source. The more useful the light source, the better. You can choose how much to bring based on your preferences and how much code you have. Good luck. Tip number 6, learn your safe spots. Your ability to complete this challenge is entirely dependent on your understanding of safe spots and using the room around you to your advantage. So take the time to learn them before truly getting serious about attempts. I highly recommend watching videos of others completing this challenge so that you can see many of the upcoming tricks in action and to learn some strategies for yourself. It can also be helpful to go into some practice runs and try out some safe spots you already know and hunt for new ones. Taking the time to do this is absolutely worth the payoff. Tip number 7, understanding node timer. For this challenge, it is absolutely essential that you understand the concept of the node timer spawn. The node timer spawn system means that the longer you are in a room, the more likely an angler will spawn. This is where the term late flicker comes from. If you wait long enough, the timer will count down all the way to 0 and an entity will spawn. However, if you open the next door, the time will lower significantly, and the chance of an angler spawning is much higher. Every angler reacts differently to this concept. Do note that this concept applies differently in the ridge, where all anglers will spawn anywhere from 45 to 90 seconds apart. You'll see how the node timer is important in the upcoming tips, but make sure to keep this in mind as it's very important to understand the Lockerless strategy. Really quick, before the next tip, if it's your first time here, welcome. I'm Fox's Rock and I make tons of guide videos on Roblox pressure and related games. If that sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing. I have many existing videos and shorts just like this one, plus a new community Discord, and I'm coming out with tons more in the near future. I have a lot of faith in these tips and believe they could truly help many players. I appreciate any help in my mission to help the pressure community. Thanks for your consideration, and right back to the video. Tip number 8, maximizing the value of each PSS. This is a great way to properly utilize the no timer spawn in a lockerless run. If you have found a PSS and the rooms in front of you do not appear to have one, it can be risky to continue looking. For instance, if you open yet another door and an angler spawns, if you're too far to reach the PSS in time, your run is over. This is why it can be advantageous to wait at your PSS and give the no timer as much time as it needs for the next angler. That way, you get it out of the way and it will have a much higher chance of finding a PSS before the next angler spawns. Keep in mind, you may need to wait a while. Only do this if you want to, but don't waste your chrono on easy to avoid mistakes. Tip number 9, starting room types. You may not pay attention to the loading docks you get upon first starting a run, but you may want to more after this tip. Did you know that specific docks lead to specific room types? For instance, the dock shown is a dock that leads directly to server rooms, as shown on screen. This is not common, but be mindful that this can give you a safe head start for Lockerless due to the abundance of PSSs in this room type. Another example is the construction dock, which leads you to the construction room type, also known as the outskirts. This room type isn't the best for Lockerless, so be careful. The main thing I want you to take from this tip though is that the beginning dock that you get does matter and can have an impact on your run. Be aware of that. Tip number 10, monster spawning times. This is an important tip so that you know what to expect. Anglers can spawn as early as door 5 depending on your luck, and Pandy can spawn as early as door 19. Watch for the angler warning message to know when exactly you need to retreat to any safe spots you've found. As for Pandy, always be wary of him and keep an ear out for his audio cue. It's good practice to pretend he's a threat even before door 19, but don't get so caught up in your Lockerless concerns that you forget to check for fake doors or wall dwellers. Lockerless is a lot to manage, but the more you practice, the better you'll get. Use the time before anglers and Pandy spawn to prepare and scout for safe places. Tip number 11, utilizing Chainsmoker. Though Chainsmoker is slow and can often be a nuisance, he's actually one of the best anglers you can get for Lockerless. This is because due to his speed, you can actually follow behind him. The green smoke trail behind him shows you where the correct path to go is, and as long as Chainsmoker is still active, no other anglers can spawn. Chainsmoker will also create dark rooms when passing through them, and anglers cannot spawn in dark rooms either. If you'd like, you can also use a sprint to keep up with Chainsmoker, as it will put you at basically his exact speed. Although this will cause you it can be helpful if you are low on proper safe spots. I would recommend using it as you might end up with a lot of attempts that have unused sprints depending on how much you've bought. The extra boost from following Chainsmoker is absolutely worth it depending on your attempt. Up to you, but don't let Chain pass without using it to your advantage in some way. Tip number 12, Grand Encounters. Part of the challenge is not letting the Grand Encounters defeat you after successfully getting so far to reach them Lockerless. That means that you'll need to get good practice with the encounters so that your attempts are only lost because of bad RNG and not because of mistakes. Although these Grand Encounters would require their own guide, and let me know if you'd want this by the way, in the hopes of helping them not be a problem for Lockerless, I'll speak on them briefly. For the Searchlights encounter, which as of the Worth the Wait update you are guaranteed to see in every attempt at least once, you actually are allowed a lot more room for mistakes now that they do not insta-kill you. You do need a considerable amount of health to tank a hit though, so be sure to bring healing for this purpose. But of course, the goal is to save your healing, so I highly recommend either practicing going fast safely or taking your time to guarantee saving your healing. For Firewall, even if it may not feel like it, you do have room for at least one mistake so long as you immediately get back on track after falling off. This can also include if you accidentally crowd late or something, but this is more costly. Focus on practicing the correct path and don't try and go faster than necessary, as this can lead to falling off if you try to skip certain parts unnecessarily. And for Abomination, if you need to practice moving the obstacles, turn on Chase Assist to practice for a run or two. It slows you and Abomination down. Prioritize dodging the landmines as they are an insta-kill. The fans are not an insta-kill and only take off some of your health. Need more tips than just these? I go into more depth about these Grand Encounters in my 25 tips video for Roblox Venture. Check it out if you need more. Tip number 13, Front Anglers. Front Anglers are another angler type that can be used as a tool to your success during Lockerless.
Out of everything
you should know
down
about front
here.
anglers. If you are currently in a room and a front angler spawns, you'll be able to tell due to hearing the angler attacking sound close to the next door you need to open. This also means that if you open the next door, even if the front angler isn't rushing through yet, you will instantly die, so don't do this. Instead, find a place to hide as angler isn't rushing through yet, you will instantly die, so don't do this. Open the next door, even if the front angler isn't rushing through, you need to open. This also means that if you open the next door, the angler attacking sound close to the next door you need to open. This also means that if you open the next door, even if the front angler isn't rushing through yet, you will instantly die, so don't do this. Instead, find a place to hide as normal. An important thing to note about front anglers is that they make the next room a dark room, in other words, the one that they spawned in. Use this to your advantage if a front angler spawns, it can be especially useful. Tip number 14, PSS versus SS. It's very important to understand the difference between these two kinds of safe spots and at what times you should be hunting for which. Here's an example which can help you visualize this. Let's say you're an expendable at door 30 and Pandemonium just spawned. You successfully safe spot him, and now you need to worry about finding future safe spots. In the vast majority of the runs you're in, Pandy spawns once during door 0. Bro, I can't do this. Pandy spawns once during doors 0 through 100. Pandy spawns once during doors 0 through 100 and only once during the ridge. Pandy only spawns once during doors 0 through 100 and only once during the ridge. This means if you already got Pandy, you should no longer be looking for PSSs and instead focus your attention on finding SSs specifically. Of course, it's good practice to still use Pandemonium safe spots, but if faced with no other option, your priority should be using an SS after getting Pandy. Another note, all Pandy safe spots are safe spots from all the other anglers as well, but not all safe
Submarine
spots
has arrived.
also safe spots.
Please stand at a minimum of 5 steps
This is
from
an
the hatch
important
until it is fully open.
attempts and a proner if you mess it up. This is why I encourage learning safe spots prior to starting attempts, but it's true that sometimes you do need to attempt it yourself to gain experience. Just bear these distinctions in mind for now. Tip number 15, 50-50 room types. A major strategy to not using lockers is staying out of the line of sight of
Getting
serious
now,
specifically, this
are we?
becomes tricky. 50-50 room types are any rooms which have 2 acceptable paths to the next door. It's hard to predict which path the angler is going to use, so be careful using these rooms for safe spots. You should only be using these rooms as safety if you find a PSS which guards you regardless of which path the angler takes and regardless of which entity it is. Tip number 16. Approach to the ridge. The ridge is, by far, your biggest barrier to completing the challenge. It may be a small amount of doors, but due to the massive difficulty spike, it could take just as long, if not longer, than the time it takes to get there. The ridge has 0 life flickering, and basically every single threat in the game is thrown at you at the same time. It's the scariest part of the attempt, which is why this tip and the remaining tips will all be focused on how to get to the ridge. The main thing I want you to know about this is it's completely okay to take your time in the ridge. Do not rush it, and do not let the buildup of finally getting their Lockerless get to your head and result in you making a costly mistake. Tip number 17, all possible threats. As mentioned, the ridge is where everything in the game is thrown at you to test your skills. Here's everything you'll have to deal with while fighting for your life in Lockerless. Every single angler type, wall dwellers, infestation, squiddles, speakers which can detonate your P2G, fake doors, pandemonium, void masses, which of course are irrelevant for Lockerless, candle bearers, and if you're unlucky, even A60 and other miscellaneous threats. Your primary goal is to remove as many of these threats off your plate as possible. Void masses are automatically eliminated as this is Lockerless. Squiddles can be eliminated through the blacklight and sport light if you're lucky enough to encounter it. You can also eliminate any of these threats in the next tip. Master evading these threats so that you are prepped for the ridge. Tip number 18, guaranteed ridge PSS. It is essential to wait for Pandemonium to spawn as a guaranteed ridge PSS so that you do not have to deal with him while progressing through the ridge. It may take a while, but there is no situation where you should not be doing this, unless you're a YouTuber like me who wants to make it harder on yourself to entertain your viewers. Either way, you get the idea. As mentioned in the last tip, with so many threats to deal with in the ridge, you must take as many off your plate as possible. This is where you first start doing that. Tip number 19, ridge checkpoints concept. The best way to approach the ridge, in my opinion, is to treat each safe spot as a checkpoint. The same can be done for the rest of the attempt before ridge, by the way. Any safe spot you find is a checkpoint, and you ideally should be using the one that is the farthest up ahead so that you can continue making progress easier. Use these checkpoints in the following way. Given that the node timer is a lot shorter in ridge specifically, you have a limited time to check for other safe spots in future rooms. But as soon as an angler passes, go ahead and check, but don't take long. If you find a safe spot, immediately use it. If this is not possible, wait for the next angler and try again. It's essential to not go too far ahead so that it's impossible to get back in time. And if you end up having no close safe spot in a future room, this is the time to use sprints, either to get back to a checkpoint if you took too long, or to rush up ahead and look for a safe spot fast. And additionally, you have to be careful doing this if you get an angler like Blitz or a front angler. Front anglers prevent you from searching the next rooms for safe spots and can trap you, while Blitz gives extremely little heads ups and can easily trip you while looking for safe spots. So it's important to be wary while searching and book it back to your nearest checkpoint if it doesn't work out. This is honestly, in my opinion, the easiest thing to mess up in all of Lockerless and may cost you a large portion of your attempts. You will need to practice this, as juggling safe spot checkpoints with a very limited window of time to move is not easy. Let's hope you get lucky. Tip number 20, must know ridge safe spots. There are ridge safe spots that you must know, because if you know them well enough, you can immediately go to them upon entering your room and be completely safe from the next anglers. Here are a couple examples. In this first room, you'll see a large ramp leading down to an unopenable door, with the next openable door being straight ahead past the ramp. The very bottom of the ramp is a perfect SS that functions as an incredible checkpoint. Make sure to crouch so that you see it. Another example is this ridge room with the long expanse where you walk over the rock to get to the next door, which is lit by standing lamps. There are actually two sides to this room, both of which are not only SS's but also PSS's. I use these in my own Lockerless victory actually. And for one more example, if you ever come across this ramp which leads to a code reacher door, this is an amazing PSS. No anglers can reach down here, and the safe spot also is essentially an Easter egg. So you can speculate the details of the Easter egg, take a quick breather, and be safe from anglers all at the same time? Nice! There are many more examples, but these are 3 of my favorites to look out for. Tip number 21, how to find ridge safe spots. Although the previous ones are obvious and easy to use, not all safe spots are obvious. This is where I'll say again that it's absolutely essential to use your surroundings to your advantage. A room may not seem like it can be used safely, but if you play your cards right, they can be go-to checkpoints. For instance, there are many rooms with shelves that you can hide beside and will block you from the angler's line of sight. There may also be easy-to-use side rooms you can utilize as safe spots. You can even hide behind certain storage containers and be completely safe from anglers. And sometimes you don't even need to hide. If you're far enough away from the angler's node path, you're fine. Before writing off a room as unusable, make sure to check for these possibilities first. Tip number 22, sprints for the ridge. As mentioned before, ridge is the time where the majority of your sprints should hopefully be saved for. They can generally be the difference between winning and losing, especially if you use them correctly. I would recommend trying to save at least 2 to 3 for ridge minimum. Something you should know about sprints is that you can jump and slide while using them. Jumping can help you evade things and get on certain obstacles in a way you couldn't before, and sliding maintains your speed, which can be very helpful. Don't forget this, as it can help you quickly check rooms for possible safe spots. Tip number 23, radios. It is not impossible that you may find a PSS, for instance a side room, which is within the range of a radio. However, that does not mean those rooms cannot be used. Be sure to choose a spot within the room which is absolutely not within the range of your PDG being detonated. There are times where using a room like this, though risky, can genuinely save your run. In other instances though, there may be speakers with range that basically cover the entire room, which can make them hard to check for safe spots. Only use these as safe spot rooms if absolutely necessary. Ideally, you rush straight past them and find a safe spot in the next room. Tip number 24, keycard strat. There is no better time to use death mode and the keycard chime than the ridge. Faced with a keycard room and don't know where the keycard is, camp in a PSS or the closest SS to a keycard door and wait until you know the exact direction of a keycard due to the sound and death mode indicator so that you can grab it and immediately go back to the checkpoint you found. You can also use Seb's scanner, but saving your kroner is better. No hate on Sebastian though. Either way, doing this is a million times better than actually taking the time to look for the keycard while the node timer ticks down. It's not worth looking, just wait for the time and hide in your nearest checkpoint. Good luck with this. Tip number 25, motivational tip. With basically every tip now out of the way, I wanted to say this. This challenge is not designed to be easy. There's a reason it used to be called "We didn't playtest this to make sure this was possible." You could do everything perfectly and still fail due to unlucky room generation. But at the end of the day, keep going. keep getting practice, because with each failed run, you have a new experience to learn from. The more attempts, the more you master safe spots and can tell others and teach them about them. And the way luck works is that the more you throw yourself at it, eventually you will strike gold and you will get that badge. So don't stop, keep going, and I hope this guide can aid you in your journey. And that's it. You've made it to the end of the guide. Thank you for sticking around. I hope this guide can help you make it to the end of the raid's Lockerless yourself. I'll be cheering you all on. I do have an important announcement before we end the video. My official community Discord server is now live. If you have any questions about this video you need to ask, or if you want to be a part of the community which loves pressure just as much as you do, join at the link at the top of the description. We have events, active giveaways, monthly XP competitions, and plenty of channels to socialize in. I hope to see you there. With that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed this guide. Thank you so much for watching, and as I always say, until we meet again, live well and have a great day. You will become a much more knowledgeable pressure player. This video is filled to the brim.
Hey bro. Yeah, let's do this.
Spotting fake doors, anticipating PvP, speedrun tips, and so much more. With so many ways to die in this game, it's essential to be prepared. I'm confident that by the end of this
Unauthorized personnel detected. Please do not interact any further with the console destination. Prepare for
Also,
deployment.
be sure to take a look at the timestamps in the description and links in the video. If you want to skip to specific tips, you can do this easily using this guide. On to the first tip. Number 1, easily spotting fake lockers. An easy way to know
The
if a
performance
locker
I've
is
seen
in other
from you
words,
so
if it has a
far.
wood mask in it, is to look under it.
totally
Is there a puddle of water by the locker? If not, if yes, a void mask will also be barely visible from the locker slits, along with a slightly audible dripping water sound. But the water is often the easiest and fastest indicator on if it's fake or not. Additionally, if you ever see void masks anywhere that isn't a locker, such as a door, it will not hurt you, for now. Number 2, fake doors. On a similar note, there are many